Dear student, today we are discuss about JavaScript in web technology. There are basically mainly two categories in scripting language. One is client-side scripting language and one is server-side scripting language. Today, JavaScript is client-side scripting language. The client-side scripting is a class of scripting languages that are used on client's machine in the user's web browser. The client-side scripting allows to change the contents of the web page depending upon the user input. The client-side scripting may contain instructions for the browser to follow the response of the user. For example, on clicking the button, some message should be displayed. Sometimes it is not necessary that the server should respond each time. Some actions can be executed as a response by the client-side scripting. So it is a need that every time we don't need to make request on server side. Some of the function is actually working on client side is actually provide the immediate response to the need and requirement of users. Here we see in the outlines of our topic. First we see in the introduction in which the tasks performed by client-side scripting language. Next we are seeing the pros and cons of client-side scripting language. Then we are actually comparing the client-side scripting language with the server-side scripting language. Next we seen that in JavaScript how the variable is declared. Next we are seeing that the use of functions in JavaScript. Next the conditions and loops which is used in JavaScript, and the pop-up boxes how it is used in JavaScript. For creating a web page, as we know that HTML supplies document content and structure, while CSS cascading style sheet we are using it to provide a presentation styling. In addition, client-side script can control browser actions associated with a web page. Client-side scripts are almost written in JavaScript language to control browser's action. Client-side scripting can make web pages more dynamic and more responsive. Task performed by client-side script. It is actually checking the correctness of the user input. As we are seeing the example of validations, if the user is actually input the wrong information to fill particular any forms, then the validations is actually checking on client side. Once if the data is wrong input by users, it is actually provide indications to users on browser the data is filled by user is correct or not. Monitoring user events and specify reactions. It is depending on the user input given by users, and reactions, specific reaction is taken by client-side scripting. Replacing and updating parts of a page. Still it is the need of users on the runtime mode. Changing the style and position of display elements dynamically. HTML we are using for the static terms. The runtime way on the client side, if you want to make the changes in particular page, web page, then here we use the client side for display elements dynamically. Modifying a page in response to event. event is actually occur by users, still it is the need of users. As per the need of users, given input by users, modifications in a page is response by the client side scripting. Getting browser information, making the web page different depending on the browsers and browser features, because of each and every user has different browser with the different version. So it is actually depending on the browser carry the functionality of script version of HTML and advance of CSS, generating the HTML code for parts of the page. As we know that everything has some advantages and disadvantages. Here we are discuss the pros and cons of client-side scripting language. Some of the advantage which is taken from client-side scripting language JS allow for more interactively by immediately responding to user actions. Because of JavaScript is actually rely on client side. So for the validation purpose, if we are talking about the validation purpose, if the user is actually input or fill any particular form and the data he wanted to pass to server side, it is possible that user has input wrong data. Every times server is not responding, or it is not actually need that every time we need to make request to server manipulate the request given by users. So in a more interactive manner or execute in a quick manner, we are using the client-side scripting language JS. It is actually provide the immediate answer to user on browsers, and it is execute quickly because they do not require a trip to a server. There is no need of JS for server. The web browser uses its own resources and eases the burden of the server. It saves network bandwidth. Some of the disadvantage or cons are there. Code is loaded in the browser, so it will be visible to the client. As we know that the security is a major issue nowadays. Our code is actually rely on client side. It is visible to client. If the client is smart or he has knowledge of languages, then he can visible our code. Code is modifiable. Runtime, the code is actually changed by client. Local files and databases cannot be accessed. User is able to display client-side scripting. Here we discuss the server-side scripting. Server-side scripting is used to create dynamic pages based on the number of conditions when the user's browser makes a request to the server. The web server executes the server-side scripting that produces the page to be sent to the browser. Server-side scripting is used to connect to the databases and files that resides on the web server. Server resources can be accessed by the server-side scripting. Server-side server-side scripting can't be blocked by the user. Examples of server-side scripting languages: PHP, JSP, ASP, ASP.NET, Ruby, Perl, and many more languages are there. As we compare with the client-side scripting, here in the server-side scripting we are using the dynamic terms. In the client-side scripting we are actually using the static terms. But some of the functionalities which is need by user as in dynamic terms, JS is actually providing it. In JavaScript language, script tag is used to define a client-side scripting. The script element either contains scripting statements or it points to an external script file through the src attribute. See the example. First, we are using the script in HTML page, and next we are using the src to provide the part to JS. First we are using the JavaScript in internal terms, or in the second one we are actually using the external script of JavaScript and we are actually provide the part with using the attribute src. Here the basic syntax, how we use JavaScript in our HTML code. We are using the script and attribute type is equal to text and JavaScript, and script tag is closed between the script start and end. The JavaScript code is written by users. We will begin the programming using JavaScript by learning about primitives. Primitive types. In primitive types, JavaScript defines two entities, primitives and objects. The primitives are for storing the values, whereas the object is for storing the reference to the actual value. A variable can contain several types of values. First, number, in which the numeric values. We see in the example. String, in which the character wrapped in quotes in double string. Here we see in the example. Boolean, a value of a true or false whenever we need the answer yes or no. Null, an empty variable, it is need of user program whenever you want to use the null as variables. Function, an object. Attributes of JavaScript variables. It is a case sensitive. See the example. My num in a small and my num in which m and n is considered as in capital. Two variables are different variables. It is a case sensitive. It cannot contain punctuation, space or start with a digit. It cannot be a JavaScript reserved words. Variable, it is user defined runtime, so it is not contain the reserved words of JavaScript. The conditions we are using in JavaScript. We are using the if statement. If, see the example, if a is greater than 10, a is a variable which is compared with the value 10. If a is greater than 10, then the loop is executed and the message is displayed a is greater than 10. Same as we are using the ternary operators. Here see the example. max is equal to a greater than b, then if the value is true, then the message is actually displaying a, that is the true, or b if the value or if the condition is not true. As we are also using the switch case, in which here seen the syntax switch an expression, then the conditions is checked depending on the expression value. The case label 1, then code is executed and break the statement if it is match, otherwise case 2, otherwise case 3, otherwise case 4 on. As it is the conditional statement in which the condition is compared with the case, if it is match, then the code of execute in particular match case will be executed. In loops, we want to check how many times the loop is executed. First, we are using the for loop. Use when you know how many repetitions you want to do. See the syntax. You are using the for, then initialize the variables, then check the conditions and increment operators. For example, if you want to execute the loop 9 times, then see the example for x is equal to 0, x less than 10 and x plus plus. Every time he is actually checking the conditions. First of all, x is equal to 0, then 0 is less than 10 and the value is condition is true, then the code is executed once. Then after, the increment operator is used and it is increment the value of x by 1. Then the 1 is less than 10, it is still true, then the code is executed. Till the condition is true, the code is executed in a loop way, in a repetition. Now while loop, loops through blocks of code while condition is true. Here see the syntax. While with the condition, if the condition is true, then the loop is executed till the condition is satisfied. See the example. While x is less than 10, then till whenever the condition is true, the code is executed in a repeated mode. Do while loop. It is checking the condition at least one. In while loop, we have seen that if the condition is not satisfied in the initial phases, the cursor is going out with the loop because of the condition is not satisfied with the initial phase. If the user has need that at least one time the loop is executed or user want to make any message, then we are using the do while loop. Do while loop execute block at least once, then repeat while condition is true. See the syntax. Do, that is the statement, and the code is going. Then using the while statement, the condition is checked. It means what? With the do statement, once time the loop is executed, then after is actually checking the conditions with the while statement. If the condition is true, then the statement is going to be executed repeated mode, otherwise it is going to be out of loop. String in JS. A string can be defined as a sequence of letters, digits, punctuation and so on. A string in a JavaScript is wrapped with a single or double quotes. String can be joined together with the plus operator, which is called concatenation. For example, see, my string is equal to my college name is, plus we are using the concatenation operator, and the other string is Gokul. Then the string is actually display my college name is Gokul. As string is an object type, it also has some useful features. For example, if you want to see the length of string, then we are using the length str is equal to my string dot length, which is return the length of the string in integer. In JS, there are also number of methods available for string. First, caret, return the character at the specific index. Index of, first index of the character. Last index of, find the last index of a character. Substring, return a section of string. Replace, if you want to replace a specified value with another value in a string, then we are using the replace method. To lowercase, which is convert string to lowercase. To uppercase, which is convert string to a uppercase. In JavaScript, there is a number of methods available for string. An escape sequence is a sequence of characters that does not represent itself when used inside a character or string, but is translated into another character or a sequence of characters that may be difficult or impossible to represent directly. Here are some useful escape sequences. /t, that is a tab, /n new line, /r for carriage return, /double quote if you want to use in your script, /single quote, and if you want to use the backslash in your program, then we are using the double backslash. Array. An array in JavaScript is a collection of data. Each item in array has an index to access it. How can we use the array in JavaScript? See the way we use array in JavaScript. Where is the keyword we are using for the variables? My array, that is the name of array, is equal to new and array. Using the indexes, we can input the values. My array of 0 value is Gokul, my array of 1 is equal to numeric values, and my array of 2 is equal to false. See the other way to use the same array, where my array is equal to new array, which is actually contain the values with it. Function in JavaScript. JavaScript function is a block of code designed to perform a particular task. A JavaScript function is executed when something invokes it. A JavaScript function is defined with the function keyword followed by a name followed by parentheses. The parentheses may include parameters, names separated by commas. See example parameter 1 and comma parameters 2, comma, etc. The code to be executed by the function is placed inside curly brace. See the example. Here we are taking the example of my function. Function is a keyword we are using for the function is JavaScript. My function is the name of functions and the parameters p1 and p2, and the code to be executed over here is into curly brackets return p1 star p2. Here my function is actually getting the values of p1 and p2, and then after it is actually calculating the p1 multiplied by p2 and return the value to a particular function. When the JavaScript reaches a return statement, the function will stop executing. If the function was invoked from a statement, JavaScript will return to execute the code after the invoking statement. The code inside the function will execute when something invokes call the function. When an event occurs, when a user click on a button, then event is occurred. When it is invoked, call from JavaScript code and automatically it's self-invoked. One of the important features of JavaScript is its interactivity with the user. There are three types of pop-up boxes used in JavaScript by which user can interact with the browser. Alert box, confirm box, and prompt box. Pop-up boxes can be used to raise an alert or to get the confirmation on any input or to have a kind of input from the user. An alert box is used if you want to make sure information comes through the genuine users. When an alert box pops up, the user will have to click OK, which is actually provide the identification. It is actually done by genuine user. Then the process is going on. It can be used to display the result of validation. See the example. Here we display hello world using the alert box. In this type of pop-up box, in which the message about confirmation will be displayed, hence it should have two buttons, OK and cancel. A confirm box is used if you want the user to accept something. When a confirm box pops up, the user will have to click either OK or cancel to proceed. If the user click OK, the box return true. If the user clicks cancel, the box return false. See the example. Here we match the value with the specific variable. If variable values is true with the input given by users, then the user is accepted or user is cancelled. It is depending on the user input given. Click on OK or cancel. Is a type of pop-up box which displays a text windows in which the user can enter something, hence it has two buttons, OK and cancel. We use prompt box for that. A prompt box is used if you want the user to input a value. When a prompt box pop up, user have to click either OK or cancel to proceed. If the user click OK, the box return the input value. If the user clicks cancel, the box return null. See the example here. We want to get the runtime value from users. Then we are using the prompt and given the string and turn name. Then the input given by users is stored into variable A and value is going on OK or cancel depending on user input, OK or cancel. Hope you enjoy.